Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. It is Saturday. What the heck day this is? It's the 28th. It's the 28th of what month is it? May. Month 28th of May. So, and it's time for the Virtual Pipe Club weekly meeting today in a very, very special place. And any minute now, they're going to start making announcements here, which will just drown us all out. It is very noisy. It's going to remain very noisy. See, somebody's going to make an announcement here in a second. But before they make an announcement, let me just say that I'm here with these guys, and all together, we are the Virtual Pipe Club, and today we are live at the Chicago Pipe Show in beautiful Lincolnshire, Illinois. And we've got a really, really interesting and great show to do today. I don't know where the knocking is coming from, but there's... So, we're live streaming not only here inside the Groovy parlor with the Groovy kids in the Zoom room, but also streaming directly out to Facebook and YouTube. So if you are watching over there on Facebook and YouTube, welcome. It's nice to see you. And Paul the Piper's there saying, hey, everybody. That's what I'm talking about. If you are watching over there on Facebook and YouTube, drop your comment in there. Tell us who you are and where you are. Who you are and where you are. Anyway, I am David Dorian Ross still, and what I want to do here is I'm going to turn the camera around for just a moment and show you what's going on inside the main room of the Chicago Pipe Show. Now, right now, it happens to be pretty empty because it's lunchtime right here. But it's been really, really busy. The whole place is entirely packed with people for almost the entire day. And it's going to be packed with people more a little bit later, so it'll get noisier again. So we have a bunch of people popping in over there on Facebook and YouTube, mostly YouTube this morning. Muaz Seker from Istanbul, Ernest says, I've been looking forward to this. James from Baltimore. Pete, apparently Bud, Pete's next door to you because he's in San Diego. And Paul the Piper from London. Excellent. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. I have lined up a number of very special guests because here at the Chicago Pipe Show, people have been waiting for the last almost 3 years to come to this show, and it gets canceled year after year, and finally it's happening. So they've all come here this year, and so we've got some terrific people here. Our first guest, who has been by 3 times to assure me that he's going to be here on time, is late. So we'll wait for him. But I'll keep him a mystery for a moment. Some of the other guests that we have coming today are Per Jensen from MacBaron is going to be here. Shane Ireland from SmokingPipes.com is going to be here. Jeremy Reeves from Cornell and Deal will be by a little bit later to talk about what's new over there. Scotty Pearsall. And by the way, see if I can... If I can find it. I did pull the trigger because when she was on the show a couple of months ago, I said I've got to get a Scotty Pearsall pipe. So there she be.
Oh, nice!
Isn't that beautiful? So cute. And look at the stem she put on that.
I love that color.
Really, really terrific. So she's going to be by to come and talk to us. And then at the very, very end, John David Cole, my brother from another mother, is here at the show, but I haven't seen him this morning, so he doesn't know what time I put down for him to be here. So we'll trust to fate that he'll come on by, and then I have one last very, very special guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is, so you need to wait around until the very end for our final guest to come in. And while we're waiting for our first guest to show up, we should do our ritual. Does that sound good? We should do that, and then I'll cut it off. I'll cut it right off so that we can go right into the guest together. But if you've got something you're smoking and what you smoking it in, put your hand up there, and I will call on you. Dimitri is here. Dimitri, why don't you go first there, brother?
Well, I'm sitting here at Casa Monte Cristo in New York City. Now I'm smoking my Mondelore White cigar. That's American Puro, made in Costa Rica with American tobacco. And I have my pipe ready. That's great there with a 21 pipe in it. That will be my next smoke. And let me pass the pipe to, well, there it is.
This morning I'm smoking a raw ruby Asian, and today morning just pulled out some centuries old equipment in order to finish it. And it's a great smoking pipe. When you look at it online and then you get it real, it's so much different. It's just quite a smoker. And I'm smoking some early morning pipe from Ken Byron. I just had to reorder some because this is almost empty. And I will pass the pipe over to Kent.
Thank you, Bud. So glad to see all of you. Welcome everyone around the world, and welcome to Chicago virtually, sort of my closest big city. Speaking of Chicago and the show, this was the first acquisition I made at my first Chicago show in 18, the old year of 18, not 18 AD, 2018. I was hooked on the show, and I'm bummed I can't be there today. But so that was my first Chicago pipe show acquisition. This is not one I got there, but it's the kind of thing I would have been looking for today. This is the freehand from I blanked out on the carver, but it's beautiful. And 8 steak early in both pipes, and pass it on to Mike Schroeder.
All right. How are you, everyone? Thank you, Kent. I am smoking some Uno, which is the release of tobacco by Per Jensen. I guess it's through Sutliff, in my Peters and Mark Twain from the mid 80s. And I wish I could be at the Chicago show, but unfortunately it's not to be. And I will pass the virtual pipe to Amir.
Hello, everybody. This is Amir. I'm from Iran, and glad to be here for, I think, the third time. And I'll be joining to you. I'm smoking Sam's Flake from Samuel Gowie. This is Virginia with Oriental, and I'm smoking in my 7LE Spinoza. It's unfinished pipe, and where to smoke it. It's a really good pipe. And obviously I couldn't attend in the Chicago Pipe Show, but I hope someday in next year I will attend the pipe show. Thank you. And I'm past the virtual pipe to Miguel. I don't know if you're talking.
Thank you, Amir. I appreciate it. I am smoking a Castello Ciroc Shape 32. And in it, it's St. Bruno Flake. After that, it will be Castello Shape 16 collection. And I'm smoking a St. James Perique Samuel Gowie. And I will pass the virtual pipe club to David Johnson.
Thank you, sir. Today I am smoking a blend from a brick and mortar called Texas. And Tyler sent that to me. And I'm smoking that in one of my corn cobs. And later on, I will probably go to a one of my other tobaccos, which I haven't decided which one yet. And I'm going to smoke, probably smoke one of my new acquisitions from Korea. I bought a pipe from Korean, and the horn that adjoins the stem cracked. And I told him about it, and he said, well, next time you buy a pipe, I'll send you 2 of them. So I bought a pipe, and he sent me 2. So I've got 2 pipes that are yet unsmoked. So I'll probably grab one of those. And let me see, Randall.
Greetings, everybody. Am I unmuted? I think I am. Big day today, the Chicago Pipe Show. It's going to be very, very exciting. And today we're doing the old club pipe again. Favorite for sure. Got a little Prince Albert in it, going good and smooth. And where did I see Bud? Bud, I got to tell you something. In my inbox or in feed a few days ago, I got a message from Wilkie Pipe Company, and they talked about a blend they have that was made for the San Diego Pipe Club. So I ordered some. I just had to. I had to. They they're extremely good blender as far as I'm concerned. They had one from that they made for the Pipe Smokers of Ireland. Oh my God, wonderful blend, wonderful Latakia blend. Anyway, everybody have a great day and a good time. And let's see.
Randall, before you jump in there, let me pause our tradition there, because our first guest is here.
You bet.
And he says that he's got a limo waiting with the motor running outside, so he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to wait for us. And let's see if it's actually going to. Why is it not showing him now? This is. This is, of course, it's not going to work right now, isn't it? All right. While we're figuring that thing out, I'm going to go back to sharing where the pipes are. Please, gentlemen, continue.
Glenn, how's it going for you today?
Hi, thanks, Randall, very much. Today I'm smoking one of my favorite pipes. It's a old K Woody super grain, nice straight billiard, smokes very nicely. And the fuel for today is Rattray's Old Gowrie.
Great stuff.
This is old Gowrie. I think it was $8 for a 100-gram tin, so you can imagine how old this is.
Wow.
But it's
That should be super good.
very,
That's
very nice.
amazing.
Very mellow. And let's see who's left with his hand up. Patrick Grant, how are you doing today?
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Patrick.
I think we're working now. I think.
Thanks, Glenn. I'm smoking actually.
All right. I'm gonna jump in again because I think, cross your fingers, that it's working again. And here's the drum roll, please. Boom! Look who I found.
There he is.
I feel so far away, but I can touch you. Wow! I can virtually touch you. Yeah.
That's right. Yes. So I'm just playing around with the buttons there so we can see everybody. It's Brian Levine. For those of you who've been living in a cave and don't remember who's who without a program, Brian Levine is here from the pipesmagazine.com radio show. I've got one.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. He's been passing out buttons because he's trying to shill the show.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
Apparently desperate for listeners. So let's do him a favor here. If you have not tuned in to the pipesmagazine.com radio show podcast, it is the #1 pipe-related podcast in the world, and this is the guy right here who runs it.
How many of you have been touched by DDR? I mean, wow. I'm not going to wash again.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if that's the right question to ask at all. There. Amber Heard is going to sue me soon.
I don't know that you want to say that.
So Brian, how about an update on our most recent news there?
You mean something about Las Vegas?
That would be the thing. Yeah.
How's that professionally shilling for the town already?
Wow. He's got
Wrong hotel,
but still.
Yeah, so we signed the contract yesterday. The show dates will be October 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, starting at 5 p.m. on Friday night the 21st, and then all day Saturday, and then Sunday until 3. So, and we're getting details and websites built, and all the registration stuff will come. But I wanted to make sure we will be able to smoke in the meeting room.
So it's official. It's the 23rd-ish.
21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Palace Station. Las Vegas.
When will rooms...
Not the win.
Not the win. When will rooms be available?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
We got to get the website switched over and get the links added and stuff. So probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks in reality. Once we revamp the old website and get the password to it.
Yes. Stratman says, I'm obsessed with Brian's show. Please ask if he has a Sutliff Uno review coming.
Sutliff Uno?
I think I have, yes, McBaron Uno.
Really?
Yes. Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
I have one.
No, you'd think some. You'd think some
We've
of these.
scooped the Pipes Magazine podcast.
Well, you'd think some of these tobacco companies might want me to review stuff for them, but sometimes. Well,
I couldn't be happier here. Let me see if I've got it in here.
We're going up to the.
Say something entertaining while I'm digging around in there.
Well, I'll tell you, entertainingly wise, it was really weird because I wasn't really thinking ahead of this show. I was just so excited just to be here and see people that I couldn't imagine. Yeah.
I'm going to pass this over to Brian in a second here, but I have a tin of Uno placed in my hands by Per Jensen, because this is not just a new tobacco from McBaron. It is an exclusive Per Jensen blend, and I have a tin right here that is signed by Per, and we're going to auction this off in the club to raise money for something. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something that for you guys, not for me, for you guys. So there you go, sir.
Okay, now I know the project. All right, well, if Per made it, it's probably good. I mean, the guy was only born in a pipe factory, so. Yep. Okay. Now I know. I also got to go mooch some.
He's right over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how good I am. See if I can get one while I'm here.
Yes. By the way, here at the pipe show, they're doing this blend that Per made and some other products, and all of the proceeds, 100% of it, is going to basically the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's not exactly that foundation, but it is one that does the same thing. So it's a children's hospital organization like that. So.
Now, in defense of me not knowing about this, I wouldn't open it and review it here anyway, because I smoked so much stuff yesterday that my tongue has filed for divorce. But if you come to a show and you get a sample of something and you really want to taste test it, you got to make sure you got a fresh mouth and you're in a room. Last night in that smoking tent, I had never had a cigar mixed with vintage cigarette mixed with English and Perique and aromatic, and all of that was just by inhaling.
I was wondering if he was like, I put it in my pipe. No. You just breathe inside the tent. That's it's pretty much just like living in New Jersey is what that's like. But
so that's pretty cool.
So Rich Gallagher also over there asks if you found any Disney items at the show.
No. I did have one person come and show me their very lovely, beautiful Walt Disney World bulldog that they wouldn't sell me.
Well, that's not very nice, is it?
No, that's like, I don't want to say what that's like, but yeah.
Okay.
That's like you love steak, and the restaurant comes over and shows you this big, beautiful steak and says, yeah, you can just look at it, but you can't eat it. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Dave Klein's here. He's here.
Dave.
He said hello.
My phone's dying, right?
Why aren't you on the show? Why aren't you in the audience there watching it?
My phone is almost dead. Plus, I'm spending money too fast.
Dave's spending money. Oh, you and me both. We're gonna go get a doghouse to stay in. The two of us. It'll be a 2-man doghouse.
So my wife's going to be happy with me because I actually brought 8 pipes. And annually, I go through my pipes and figure out which ones aren't, just for whatever reason I'm not smoking them.
Enjoy.
Good to see you, Dave.
And I took 8 pipes and was able to sell and trade them first thing this morning. And and got rid of them. And I was like, well, so there's nothing on the credit card that I have to try to hide the bill from her when it comes in. So nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Show's not over yet.
Well, that's all right. We got a whole day and a half left to go through here.
Yeah. Oh, and you guys want the big scoop? You want the big news?
Yes, please.
Nana Iverson agreed to come on my podcast and tell stories of her family.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm so jealous right
That's
now.
amazing.
I am so jealous right now. That's what I wanted to do. I wonder how pitiful I can look. Can I look? But Nana, you said yes to Brian.
Aha, the benefit of being able to edit.
For those of you who don't know who Nana is, she's Lars Everson's daughter, and
Sixten Everson's granddaughter.
The inheritor of the Everson dynasty. Sweet, shy, but immensely talented. Someday we're going to get her on the show. We are, because Brian's going to tell her that right after she's on his show that she has to come on our show.
And her grandfather Sixten was really instrumental in a lot of the design elements of the Stanwell pipes in the 60s and 70s. So even though if you can't, the Everson pipes tend to come with a price tag as long as the last name. Even if you can't afford the pipes, you're still, when you look at old Stanwells in the 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way up to the current stuff, a lot of those shapes were Sixten designed.
So that's who that is. Listen, what I thought I would do is I would open it up to everybody here in the club, these fine people. If you've got any questions for Brian, throw them out, gentlemen.
Brian, you're familiar with the Birds of a Feather series?
Say that a little bit louder, David.
Birds of a Feather series.
Birds of a Feather series.
No.
No, tell us more.
Oh, it's all I know about it is it's a series of tobaccos made by Sutliff, and the Sutliff Uno is part of that series. And I just looked it up, and SmokyPipes.com sells the Sutliff Uno.
Yes, SmokyPipes.com does, and that may be because it's got a big eagle eye right there on the tin there. Now also, Per will be here as one of our people sitting in Brian's chair. He's not the next person that's going to kick you out, but so don't worry.
I don't know. All I know is I was told to show up at 1:20 on some time zone.
And sometimes, yeah, that's my problem. I don't know where we are. And also, Shane Ireland will be here. So, David, you could ask them a couple of those guys questions like that.
You could get Mike McNeil. You want him?
Yeah.
That would not be a 20-minute segment.
What else? Other questions? And by the way, this is also for you guys over there watching on Facebook and YouTube. We'd love to have your questions also. Just go ahead and here's one. WKR Piper in Cincinnati. Will either of you be at the Ohio Pipe Show? I unfortunately will not, but
90% sure I would.
There you go.
It's kind of a highlight of the year because my wife and I drive up to it, and we always add a day on and do something interesting around the Columbus area or on the route, and it's just a great show. It's really a lot of fun, and it's a good group of people. So.
And as evidenced by the fact that Nana's going to be on his show. Obviously, he is the real celebrity, the real face of the pipe world. So that's who you want to see anyway.
Yeah, and that's why when I'm on my show, I do this. So you can't see me.
We wouldn't know either way. It's radio.
I also don't have to worry about if the camera's working.
Yeah. For those of you who just came on a few minutes ago, I had the other camera work set up perfectly. The moment that Brian sat down,
I broke it.
Didn't happen.
I broke it.
You broke the internet. What else? If you've got a question, put your virtual hand up, and I will call upon you.
Can I show you 2 pipes that I bought?
Ooh, yes. Yes. That would be great.
Please.
And let me make sure I grab the right ones.
That's not one of the pipes that he brought. I pushed the wrong button. There we go.
I'm digging them out of the secret hiding place. So there's a couple pipe makers that I've had on the podcast in the past that I was keeping an eye on, and I wanted to add them to my collection. The first one is Alexander Pipes from Alexander Hasty.
Wow.
So that's what I bought.
That's beautiful.
He is, and I had him on the show twice. He's a young kid that really has the idea of what he wants to do, and he's gotten dramatically better each year. And he's not gotten dramatically experienced, but he is expensive, but he is a full-time pipe maker.
Oh, wow.
And he's like 27, and he's really humble.
That's what I was going to ask. How old was he?
Yeah, so he's 27, and he is really dedicated to it. I don't know how. I'm trying to frame this so that it.
Let's go to your right a little bit.
I wanted to show that this is button construction right here. So there's about 7 different cuts on that button to create that. Let's see if I get myself out of the way. Just to get that extra little lip going and get it done.
See those 3 dots at the top there? Just push it a little bit closer to the very top. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
So that's a little bit of, that's some of the detail. And then how thin that is. And then the other guy is a guy named Trey Rice, who is a part-time pipe maker. But again, just another one that's got a real eye for detail and balance. And we're not talking, we're talking like $375 and $475 for a brand new
pipe. Can I take a look? Hey. Super light, number one. And then look at that rim. That's beautiful.
And it's rare that I actually buy brand new pipes, because I prefer estate stuff, because I'm cheap. Thrifty.
Thrifty. He's Jewish and Scottish together, like me, like myself.
No, I'm Jewish and Jewish.
Jewish and Jewish?
Yeah, we only taught you guys some of it.
I'm Jewish and Scottish, so.
Well, you can drink your guilt away.
I can drink my guilt away. That's my plan. Yes.
We have to live with it, darling.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun to get these, and I will probably wait until I get home to break them in. Just because I don't want to. There's too much going on in the smoking tent, and there's too much fun, and you can't really pay attention to what you're doing. So. Too many tall tales of stories, and lies, and
true lies.
Right, absolutely. Whatever you say.
Whatever I say, true lies.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Let me go back over here and see if there's any other questions that you want to ask of Brian while he's here, because I'm going to go and see if I can wrangle another guest who shall remain nameless here in a moment. Somebody else had their hand up for a moment there, and then I lost it.
They got smart and said, I don't want to hear from that guy anymore.
In Chicago. At the show, there's a show in Chicago. One of the long.
Well, the big news still is the Las Vegas Pipe Show. Why don't we? Just to give you some context here, Brian and I. Brian's been very generous with his time and telling me a little bit about what the show is going to be like. We're going to try to be very involved with it, the whole virtual pipe club. And he's got some great ideas about how we're going to make the virtual, or I'm changing the name already to the virtual West Coast Pipe Show.
The Lost Virtual International Pipe Show?
The Lost Virtual International Pipe Show.
Yeah.
That's just the beverage talking. No, he's got some great ideas about how the show's going to be different. Why don't you take over for a moment there? Show's all yours.
So besides the fact that we're going to be able to smoke on the show floor and have a smoking lounge, it'll be one of the few pipe shows where you can walk around and smoke while you look at pipes. We are working on places where people can gather to smoke after the show and during, and on the days before and after. We really wanted to also emphasize more on just coming and meeting other pipe smokers and being a social event, and not so much, you don't have to buy stuff. You can come visit, walk around, hang out, and learn from the other pipe guys. And then, one question is, Brian, have you found any close replacements to McClellan 2015? No. Close, no. The only Virginia Periques or Virginias that I'm really liking right now is either Cornell and Deal's Carolina Red Flake and the Red Flake with Perique, and the Sutliff Crumble Cakes, and still Escudo's decent and enjoyable. Give the Escudo a couple of years of age. The Sutliff stuff, if you overage it, make sure and take it out of the tin and put it in a glass jar so that it doesn't, so that the seal doesn't break on you. What else? So the pipe show, also we're going to have space for all YouTubers if they want to come and record their shows or record segments. We're going to set up a space for that. I'm already talking to Bo York and John David Cole about recording some episodes of the Country Squire Radio right there on the floor. As opposed to this setup that David Dorian's got the green UFO behind him.
Yes.
Ours will be turned so that behind you will be the pipe show instead of a wall.
Yeah. So this is movie magic, as you guys probably know.
And it doesn't work on this side.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I only set it up for myself because, it's all about me. But that's a great idea. So one of the things that we're going to invite everybody to do from our club is make suggestions about your favorite YouTubers that we can reach out to and invite to come to the show, and they have to pay their own way. Don't make any mistake about that. But it would be nice to have what you think are the popular, exciting, interesting kind of YouTubers to come and be part of the West Coast show there. So,
yeah, especially being on the West Coast, I'd love to see Bradley from Stuff and Things and Northwest Pipe Smoker and a handful of those guys, because it's a 2-hour flight for them.
And I don't know exactly who's here today, but some of you guys I know have your own channels too. So we'd love to have you guys on to
and
broadcast directly from the floor there.
Yeah, and we'll set up a schedule so that everybody's got a certain amount of time for the table, for the area, so that they're not overlapping, because you really don't want to be recording while somebody else is sitting right next to you recording about something else. So we'll have it all organized and detailed. And the Palace Station also has a free airport shuttle.
Oh, nice.
And a free shuttle to one of the big malls on the Strip. So if you don't have to worry about Uber or taxis, and if you're bringing a significant other who's not real interested in pipes, so they can take the free shuttle to the mall or down on the Strip and go wander around there.
There you go.
And if you think you can spend a lot of money at a pipe show, some of them malls in Vegas, you can spend a whole bunch more money a whole lot faster.
That may be your get out of jail free card. Just saying.
Yeah.
If you send them off, then there's a sort of a
Oh, we're getting younger and better looking.
And he's not talking about me either.
Are you guys still live right now?
We are.
I'm alive. I'm not that old yet.
Well, first of all, Brian, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's really good to see you.
Look, I get to touch DDR, touch and move.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, now on that note, I'm never going to wash this finger again.
No, I think you should go in immediately. You never have.
No, that one. You're right.
That one.
Yeah.
That's the other one.
And then even worse, here comes Shane.
Thanks, Brian.
Ask him why his name is Ireland, but he's not Irish.
It's not that interesting of a story, actually.
I think it is.
Well, I want to thank Brian Levine for being here.
I don't like how I have to follow Levine though. That's not good.
you don't like that setup there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Shane Ireland
Hey, everybody.
from SmokyPipes.com. Shane's been a regular host for us several times.
Coming back soon, hopefully.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Shh. It's supposed to be a surprise.
Okay.
I got to train these guys.
I'll never be back.
About how. Well, one more time as a guest, then you get a red jacket.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So Shane is here for the three of you who have been living in a cave somewhere in the Himalayas. Shane Ireland is the general manager over at SmokyPipes.com. He's basically the guy who keeps us all broke.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's going to talk about a few things. I've got a couple of questions for him. Give me a second, and then we'll open it up to questions from all of you. And that includes all y'all who are there on Facebook and YouTube. And we'll try to get to all your questions. Or Shane will just keep talking.
Yeah, that's easy for me too.
So what's new? Tell me what's new.
Nothing much. I mean, it's great to be back in Chicago. I don't know about you, but I feel like the new venue is great. You know what I mean? Loving it so far. Everybody's sort of getting their sea legs, it seems like, just because after 25 years at Pheasant Run, we all knew like the back of our. You could walk around blindfolded, and the same for the show floor. Everybody knew where everybody's tables were every year. So I think we're getting our sea legs a little bit, but great turnout, and everybody's in a great mood to just be back together again. And that's been pretty special and pretty emotional the last couple days.
I can totally attest to the fact that everybody's in a great mood for being back again. It's like kids at Christmas.
Oh yeah,
everywhere. Yes. Now, just to be accurate, I've never been to the Chicago Pipe Show before. This is my first year, but I have been at Pheasant Run.
Yeah. What could you possibly have been doing at Pheasant Run if you weren't at the Chicago Pipe Show?
This was 1988.
Okay, that's the year I was born, by the way. Sorry, I had to do that.
I'm going to go get my walker and leave Shane here to continue the show. So I was at a martial arts tournament there.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And the thing about what I remember about Pheasant Run is that there was one hallway that was like the Haunted Mansion from Disneyland.
Yeah.
These little sort of cupolas above the walkway that I don't remember if there was actually people in the windows.
No, I think silhouettes or whatever.
Silhouettes.
What you're talking about was called Bourbon Street, and it was the this like little corridor where they had some ballrooms and they had a couple of restaurants and stuff like that, and the restaurants were like New Orleans themed stuff, and
it was spookier than hell. That's all I remember. Hello.
You the guys with the microphone. I found this bag outside, and there's a passport inside it. So if somebody wants it, so I just need somebody.
Get a hold of Tim or
I'll get it to somebody. Yeah, I'll get it to somebody. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
who better than Nana Iverson to bring that in?
Nana Iverson just.
That was her sister, actually.
Well, that was her sister.
Yeah,
That's
her sister.
Nana's sister, and she didn't recognize me either.
Don't let me forget that.
So we have a question right now from from YouTube. This is the weirdest question we've ever had on the show.
Oh,
Will
gosh.
Shane sell his tongue?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't. Well, no.
I assume you're talking about taste and not an illegal, inappropriate solicitation. Sorry.
Knowing Stratman, I'm sure that this was worded exactly
as meant.
purpose.
Yeah. No, I won't. Sorry. In any case.
But he will sell his expertise that comes along with it.
Sure.
Well, he won't sell it. He'll rent it.
I'll lend him. Yeah.
Yes. If you have any other questions of a more something else
practical,
nature, yeah. Please go ahead and ask. So, anything new from Smoking Pipes?
Ooh, I'm trying to think. There's been a bunch of things in the last week. A lot of new releases. Palmetto Balkan. We had the Seattle Pipe Club Hogshead not that long ago, which I think there's still a little bit available of both of those, potentially. My favorite in the last 6 months was Warped Saint Espresso.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to try that?
Yeah.
I have been super into that one. I think as a guy who mostly smokes Virginias and a little bit of Latakia, Saint Espresso has the most replay value of any aromatic that I've had in the last several years. I'm craving it pretty regularly, and the room note is like super incredible. I've had so many compliments, so that's been my favorite of the new things in the last couple months, tobacco-wise.
Is it really like a coffee kind of aroma?
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, it smells like somebody like pulling a shot of espresso. You know, there's like the caramelized sugar, the little bit of a chocolatey kind of a vibe. It's super lush, super rich. But the cigar leaf Cavendish and the Red Virginia Cavendish, it smokes. I'm not saying this in a disparaging way, but it doesn't smoke like a Cavendish aromatic. It doesn't smoke like a black Cavendish. It burns really well. There's enough body and enough like nicotine and enough strength for it to sort of fill a spot in my rotation that didn't really exist before. It's amazing. It's amazing. So that's super good. We've had. I'm trying to think what else has been happening recently.
Any new pipe makers that you've started to carry?
New pipe makers? New pipe makers in the last year? No. There's a handful of guys that I'm talking to now that I'm hoping to bring on in the next year or so. But everybody right now is sort of screaming for pipes. You know what I mean? The retailers and the customers, like nobody can seem to make enough. So I'm trying to be as patient as I can with waiting for our first batches from some of these guys.
I will say that most of the pipe carvers that I've talked to who've been on the show and that I know have been saying that they've been rushing to create pipes for the show here.
Yeah.
Because they're just cleaned out. They've got
absolutely
nothing left to sell.
And most of the guys, and this goes for us too. Almost everybody's waiting list and like commissions and back orders and stuff are just growing and growing. So it's been we've talked about this a little bit before, but the pandemic has been a really big boon for the pipe world. A lot of new guys coming into the hobby in the last 2 years, which is fantastic. It's hard to keep up. But that's a good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have.
That's the best kind. So, but yeah, look out for some new pipe releases, some new tobacco releases in the next couple months. We've got a handful of
you can't just leave that kind of thing hanging. Look out for some new releases in the next couple of months.
Okay, I can't divulge absolutely everything, but one thing that you'll see in the next couple weeks, we're doing something that we've never done before, sort of for Father's Day, and it's going to be a promotion where if you buy any Savinelli pipe in the month of June or from a certain date range, I can't remember, but it's around Father's Day, that you will get access to a free tin of a new Savinelli God Series tobacco that's not available for purchase outside of the promo. So if you've seen that we've done that for the St. Patrick's Day Reserve with Peterson, and then Wintertime Reserve with Peterson, there's something really special on the promo side coming soon. Tin of tobacco, super good stuff, but I'm not going to leak any of the details yet. If you smoked like Janus or any, if you smoked like the Savinelli Janus or Jupiter, this is gonna be something you're excited about for sure.
And so that's coming in June.
That's coming in June.
Okay, so we'll try to. I don't know if you know that we've been a presence on Facebook for the longest time.
Yeah.
And we just put up a new website.
Oh, fantastic!
And so we're gonna. There's nothing on it yet. By the way, let me just pause. This episode of the Virtual Pipe Club is brought to you by the Virtual Pipe Club with its new website, thevirtualpipeclub.com, where there's nothing on the website, but you can go and you can sign up so that we have your email address, and then we can send you emails about things that come out like a special at smokingpipes.com. So that's coming up there. If you haven't been there, go there now, thevirtualpipeclub.com. And we want to thank that sponsor.
Excellent.
So I have a question here, a couple of questions from the YouTube group, and then I'm going to turn it over to the guys in the Zoom room here. So the first question is, what does Shane view? We're speaking of them in the third person now.
Yeah.
What does Shane view as the best but not well-known C&D blend?
Ooh, okay. So C&D sleepers, there's a couple, and I mean, to say not well known is a little tough, but I've got three that I think are under the radar that are fantastic. I would say least under the radar here would be Speakeasy, Cellar Series Speakeasy. That is, I think, one of the best Virginia flakes that Jeremy's ever made. In fact, if he was honest about it, he would say that was sort of prompted by me asking him for something super specific for myself. And it ended up being a blend that we put into production. Really, really excellent stuff. Lots of complexity. That's something that, like, if you're a Sunday picnic lover, if you're a red carpet lover, GLP's Union Square, any of the Carolina Red Flakes, it's going to have similar vibes, except I think the complexity is through the roof. And it's really a good all-day smoke for guys that are, like, big fans of, sort of the old school, like, Navy cut sort of tobaccos. So yeah, Speakeasy is one of them. Redburn is an amazing crumble cake that's basically mostly burley based.
20 minutes since the last announcement, just so you know, the silent auction is in the Grand Marquis Ballroom.
We're just pausing because Tim, yes. By the way, who is a member of our club, Tim Garrity, is making his announcements. All right, I think he's done.
I was going to say we have at least 5 more minutes until the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, Redburn, super good burley cake, and I think one of the other ones that, again, on the Virginia side with like a little bit of added sweetness, John Marr. John Marr. Have you ever smoked John Marr?
I have not.
John Marr is fantastic, and again, I think Redburn and John Marr are technically in this. No, they might be in the same series, but John Marr is the Melville series. Anyway, doesn't matter. Super, super good. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of a vanilla vibe, but it's basically just a Virginia Virginia Perique blend that has a little bit of enhancement, but I wouldn't even consider it anywhere near an aromatic. John Marsh smokes great, ages great, Redburn, and Speakeasy.
Speakeasy, of course, is been out there for a while. That's a Greg Pease, right?
No, Speakeasy is one of ours.
It's one of yours?
Yeah, it's one of Jeremy's blends, yeah.
So I'm holding here in my hands a stack of special blends from Cornell and Deal that are made just for this show.
Nice.
And have you tried these?
I haven't even gotten to smoke those yet. No.
No way.
No, because we can't get them. Smoking pipes can't get them.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Because this is only available here this weekend. When these are gone, they're gone for good.
Now,
but they will probably come on in the aftermarket.
Yeah, that's true. But I would say too, and not to put them on blast or anything, but Arlington Pipe and Cigar here in Illinois, they are over here with Jeremy Reeves, and he's representing them at this show. So I bet if you called them up,
yes,
call them up, see if they'll save some for you, ship them, whatever.
I've got their information. I've got her card.
Yeah, fantastic.
Which I'll pull out in a little bit here. So. Obviously, we'll ask Jeremy about it when he comes by, but they've got a mature Virginia, which has got some both red and bright Virginia in it, he said. It is a natural, sweet, all-Virginia blend with notes of honey, zesty citrus, hay, and baked goods. Ooh. Pressed and aged to perfection in the tin. Oh, so it's a cake.
Yeah. These all actually, this feels like a cake too. This is the, do you mind if I?
Not at all.
This is the mature Virginia Perique, Chicagoland 2022, a Virginia forward vapor blend with notes of freshly baked bread, stone fruits, and a subtle spice. Again, pressed, nice cake in there. Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
That's beautiful. I wonder if that's St. James Perique or...
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah?
Most definitely.
There, I'll let you
if there's Perique in any of these, it's Perique that Jeremy helped farm himself and did the turns himself, going down to Louisiana over the course of the production of a run like 3 or 4 times. Genuine St. James, grown and processed. Mature English, a potent Scottish style blend, which again, there we go. Notes of wood smoke, stone fruit, and earthy cocoa. Pressed and aged to perfection, and Scottish style and stone fruits. There's probably some Perique in here too. If I know Jeremy,
that's what Jeremy was saying. So he said that's the Scottish thing. So what makes it a Scottish blend as opposed to an English or an English Scottish? I don't know how they do this without getting the Scots to really be pissed off, but it's because it has Perique in it.
Typically, that's.
And so finally, then we have an aromatic who Jeremy swears is not obnoxious. a mannered. I was trying to make out that word there. A mannered.
Nuanced.
A nuanced. Not the word that I was reading, but much better.
You could have gone neutered.
I could have gone neutered. I could have said a nuanced aromatic blend with notes of boozy maple, cream, and toasted nuts. Wow. Aged to perfection in the tin.
That sounds like it's a mixture.
Yeah. So
that might be the only one that's not pressed.
The only one that's not pressed there. So we'll pull out that card for Arlington in a little bit there. One last question from the group there, and I'm going to turn it over to the Zoom room here. Are you guys working on getting any HU tobaccos?
No. I get that question quite a bit, and it's just not in the cards. Both because HU tobaccos were not on the market here in the U.S. pre-predicate date before the FDA deeming, and because supply is an issue as it is. I mean, I sort of doubt that they'd even be able to supply the U.S. market at this stage. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but don't hold your breath for the U.S. market in the HU tobaccos. I mean, the rest of us that smoke that stuff, you just kind of gotta order it from Europe, however you can.
That's been asked before when Shane's been on the show, but I thought, let's ask it again. And now we'll never, ever ask that question.
Sure.
Again. Okay, the cool kids here in the Zoom room. Questions for Shane.
Okay, Shane, I have one question.
Hey.
The first one, well, at first it's great to see you again. And the question is that the first one you read about that honey nose in Virginia, where is that Virginia from? Because I noticed usually Asian Virginia has that honey kind of sweetness, like Virginia from India, from Philippines.
So where are they sourcing the Virginia?
For which blend? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. That was the only part I didn't hear.
Yeah, Dimitri, which blend?
Or just generally?
That first one, you read the description. It has honey sweetness.
To show Virginia.
May I see the tin one more time?
Absolutely.
So it kind of depends because we have quite a few different grades. Jeremy has quite a few different grades that he uses in the Cornell and Deal production and the GLP's production. But reading this, if it's talking about notes of honey, zesty citrus, hay, and baked goods, there's probably, we could just ask him when he's here, but probably some orange and red grades out of the Carolinas. And I'm guessing that a big chunk of that is probably a bright leaf. And most of the grades of bright leaf that Jeremy has been fond of in the last 5 years have been Canadian bright leaf. And some of that, it has the zesty citrus quality, the bread-like notes, the hay-like notes, but there's been a handful of grades of bright leaf out of Canada that he's sourced in the last few years that the sugar content is extremely high. So just to give you an idea, like your red Virginia, Carolina Red Flake, Carolina Red Flake with Perique, those are pretty sweet orange and red Virginias, and they're in the 12 to 14% sugar. The Canadian bright leaf that Jeremy uses is often above 20% sugar. So it's crazy, super sweet, and a really well balanced, not terribly grassy grades.
Yeah, well, I love Canadian bright Virginia. It has combination of sweetness, with a citrus note. So usually it's very, very pleasant.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic stuff.
Well, I don't want to say that Shane has outlived his welcome here, but
yeah.
But we have
Bye.
I feel like Conan O'Brien or something. You're right.
Yeah. They can play. You need music to play people off.
That's true.
You really do.
And we'll be right back after this message, and then we'll have a new guest there. So everybody, big round of applause for Shane there.
Thank you, Shane.
Thanks so much, guys. Good to see you as usual.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right. See ya.
Well, how you guys doing so far? Anybody having any fun at all there? Yes?
This is good. It's good.
Yeah, we certainly going to try to make more time for questions and chat from you guys. And kind of just felt like we rushed through the last two people, but time just flies. So I'm about to introduce another guest that we love more than oxygen. He's been a special guest on our show a couple of times, has helped us out many times, and I love him right from here, for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Per Jensen from McBaron.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Well, thank you, and I can only say last time was much nicer for me. I just have to wear a clean t-shirt, my shorts, and my slippers.
Yeah.
And today I have to dress up completely.
He actually has pants and shoes on. That's what he's saying.
You can confirm that. Thank you very much.
Confirm that.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. So a couple things. So lots of things we want to talk about. Let's start with this.
Yep.
So we already had a chance to preview this, but I'd love to hear from you what it's all about.
Well, first of all, I can show you. I don't know if this is coming through.
So what you want to see, this 3 dots up there, pointed up there a little bit higher. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah. So this is how it looks. The Uno, and the Uno is perhaps one of the most complex blends I have ever created, because we have normal St. James, original St. James Perique, we have this Catarini Peric, and now everybody start asking, what is Catarini Peric? I never heard about it. Well, the 8th of January, I haven't heard about it either. So the 9th, I landed in Sutcliffe, taking on the challenge from Jeremy McKenna, the CEO, of blending 6 blends in 1 week. And man, I was out of my comfort zone.
Six brand new blends in 1 week?
Completely brand new.
Wow.
Not knowing what I had at my disposal. So
you didn't even know what the component ingredients were going to be?
No, I just knew that a few of them would be McBaron tobaccos, and the whole table was filled with tobacco. So I have to work my way through to find out what is what here, get acquainted, and then I start blending the tobaccos.
I have a question about that. When you are given that kind of an opportunity with a table full of tobaccos, do you smoke them?
Yes.
You smoke all of them.
Yes.
So it's not just the aroma.
No, and it's not like a 15-minute smoke for each. It's 2 or 3 minutes. And drinking a lot of water in between to cleanse the palate.
So you really have to...
and then I had to put them in groups and say, well, this is this kind, this is that kind. And then I could start, from Tuesday on, I could start working with the blending. So, but besides the Catarina Peric, this contains Latakia. We have some red Virginias, we have bright Virginias, we have dark-fired Kentucky, and we have a Virginia Cavendish.
So it's kind of a kitchen sink.
Yes. But, and here comes the big but, none of the tobaccos should overwhelm the others. Actually, the dark-fired Kentucky is there just to support, but the rest, you should be able to taste them from time to time. And that is the most difficult to do in a blend. That is that you taste every small nuance that you can get.
Let me make a comment on this. So, on Thursday, was it Thursday or Friday? Pear hosted a blending workshop, and he gave us about a dozen of us the opportunity to put together some of our own blend based on some basic instructions that Pear gave us and some understanding of how the different tobaccos would taste and how they would smell together. That is the toughest thing you could ever imagine. Way tougher than cooking. And cooking is hard enough for me anyway. But just to really get a sense of the genius that it takes to do something like that. The idea that you could balance those kinds of tastes in a way that, because frankly, none of my tobacco tastes like I'm going to probably have to dump it all when I get home. But somebody who knows what they're doing can make it work, right? That's my point.
Well, it takes a lot of experience, and it takes a lot of errors. Where you blend something and say, "Well, this should be just it," and then you smoke and say, "Wow, no, it was not it." Back up front. Then you start mixing again, blending again, changing the percentage of the components and all that stuff.
Do you go off of previous blends that you've made as a starting point?
No, but I have my experience. Say which tobacco usually works together, and which does not. That is as important as the do's.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
So, but
so you had 6 blends.
6 blends, and this is the first one released. The owl, of course, the very wise bird, and the whole series will be birds of a feather.
We had a question about that earlier from one of the guys in the Virtual Pipe Club. What we knew about birds of a feather, and I hadn't heard of it yet. So, David, this is the answer.
It was actually Jeremy's idea, and the artwork is made by his brother. And the 5 remaining will also be birds, but with different names. So, like Uno, it's a unicat. There's only one. That means Uno. And the other one, I won't tell you the names, but you'll see when they come.
Do you have any sense of what the rollout will be like?
I think they will all be rolled out this year.
Before the end of 2022?
Yes. So the last one probably in December. And I can only say they are all going to be very different. It's not that you have a red line and say, well, it's like this. No, they're very different.
So, can you describe what the taste of Uno is like?
Well, normally when we are talking Perique, it's peppery, it's strong, a little bit sour, and the Catarina Perique is completely opposite. So those two actually goes very good hand in hand. Catarina Perique is more raisins, more blackberries, wild blackberries in that direction, not with any sharpness. And the reason is the Catarina is an oriental tobacco, which is sun-dried, meaning it has a percentage of natural sugar. And when you put that through the Perique process, it goes in a complete other way than what will happen with a boiling. That is the St. James Perique.
I wonder if so probably most of you guys know what the Perique process means, but there may be a couple of you that aren't really clear on what happens to the tobacco in what we would call a Perique process. Could you maybe say a little?
Sure.
Yep.
The original St. James Perique is big burley leaves that are air dried, meaning hanging on a roof for 40 to 60 days. Then you take them, you rehumidify them, you remove the center stem, and then you take this, I would call it tobacco fillets, put them into a barrel, you add a liquid, and don't ask me what that is, because that is the big secret. But it comes back from the original inhabitants in Louisiana. And put into the barrel, the lid comes on, and then they make pressure. So the tobacco is swimming in its own juice and this liquid. And then it's, just stored. And Louisiana, as you might know, very hot. Very, very hot. So it's a fermentation. And after a couple of years, you have the most perfect period.
So a fermentation process, correct me if I'm wrong, but it will increase the sugar content.
No.
No, it increases the alcohol content.
Yes.
Which is
So basically,
the right answer.
fermentation, that's when bacteria and the fungus
So, and then
we got
convert certain organic material, certain organic compounds into other organic compounds, like sugars, turns into alcohol turns into vinegar, and so on.
So alcohol, vinegar, and salt, did you say?
No, I said and so on. So like basically fermentation mostly affects sugars in the tobacco. When sugars converted complex sugars break down into simple sugars converted to alcohol can be converted to vinegar.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is Dimitri, who is our resident organic chemist. That's not a joke, by the way. That's who he is, and that's why we love him on the show. Okay, so now we have this Periquified Catarina.
Yes. Then I added a little bit smokiness by adding latakia. And to support the latakia, because in nicotine-wise, latakia doesn't contain much. So I added some dark fired Kentucky to get the blend to another level.
So St. James Perique is known for having a higher nicotine content.
Much higher.
But the Catarina Perique, no?
No, because it's an oriental.
Got it.
So a normal Perique perhaps have 5 to 6% nicotine, and the Catarina only got 0.5%.
Wow, that's a big difference.
So I had to play a little bit around with the nicotine content. And by the way, I heard a couple of guys here who smoked it and said, "Wow, that's a strong tobacco."
The Uno?
Sorry?
The Caterini? The Uno.
The Uno.
The Uno.
But when I smoked it, I didn't find it that strong. But yeah, it's different how we obtain the nicotine.
Right.
And to balance the whole thing out, because otherwise we will go too much in alkalic and pH value, I added some red Virginias and some white Virginias. The red Virginias is also called overripe, meaning they have a lot of oil that gives taste. Some people, they love it, some they hate it. And the other one is the filler. It's just there. It's not doing much, but it's just there. And filling out, it's good.
Does it tend to, in some way, mellow out the flavor, or
not the flavor, because you'll find some grassy notes, but they're a little bit deeper because the Perique and the Caterini and the Latakia together are in the front seat. Then we have, on the back seat we have the Virginias, and in the trunk we have the Dark Fired Kentucky and the Black Cavendish, just for balance.
So I'm curious now, and it's a little bit because of the experience I had trying to follow his instructions in the blending workshop. So probably the first way that you do that is by the relative percentages of the tobacco, right? But it's not only that, because some of the tobaccos are stronger, so it's not exactly percent to percent.
No. I know the tobaccos, so I make up the recipe in my head. Then I tried, and of course I write it down, because I would be a fool to make the perfect blend, and then I can't remember afterwards what did I do. So yeah, of course I write it down, and then I start correcting. But I was so much out of my comfort zone, because normally the HH blend all took between a half year and a whole year to develop. And here you have to make 6 in 4 days.
In 4 days?
4 days. The 5th day we had a panel.
With Christina Brown.
I can't even imagine making 6 blends in 1 week.
Neil Osborne, Jack Sullivan, Gary Wade, and John Winton. Please go see Sue at the front desk for your meal tickets for tonight. Thank you.
I think we're back on.
Yes, we're back on. I was telling Brian when he first came over, it says, of course, none of these announcements were being made all morning until the show started.
No.
Right, so that was our good fortune. So Mike's already got his hand up there with a question for Per, and if anybody else has a question they'd like to ask, put your hand up there, and we're going to go that direction. So, Mike, you're up, my friend. But you're on mute.
Per, my question is, I'm smoking Uno right now, and I have to tell you, that is a wonderful blend. My concern, of course, is anytime I find something I really like, is this going to be a limited release? What I have is what I'm going to get.
Yep.
Where's the guy that does all the announcing?
Yep.
Thank you.
I didn't get the question.
Is Uno going to be a limited release?
Yeah. I can say it's going to be a very limited release. There's coming one other tobacco containing Caterina Perique, but we have no more. And Mark, who made it, is still trying to figure out how he did. So in a short time, we cannot have any more.
So Mark didn't write it down.
No, he didn't write it down. No. Unfortunately. So yeah,
it would be a mistake.
So yes, it's going to be a very limited edition.
Super. Did that help, Mike? Maybe it didn't help, but did that answer your question?
No, it confirmed my suspicion.
Yeah.
Well, it's a paper.
What was that question again, Mike?
He said it confirmed my suspicion. I was only able to get 10 tins of it, so I have to hoard it.
I know you smoke.
I'm mostly English, but there's some rarities, right?
There you go.
Thank you.
There we go. Dimitri, I see you had your hand up there.
Yes, sir, I have a question about HH rustica. Is Nicotiana rustica from South America? Because it's really strong. I absolutely love that blend. It's delicious. It's one of my favorite smokes. But I had like straight Nicotiana rustica from Europe, which is much milder than HH blend. So I suspect it's from South America. Is it right?
He wants to know if your source for the rustica is South America or Europe.
Actually, it's Far East.
Far East?
Far East, yes.
So, like in China or?
No, like in India, Indonesia.
Thailand, it's very popular there, and over there it's also very strong.
He says it's very strong over there.
Yeah,
as far as,
yes.
So, India, that's interesting.
Yeah, normally we don't write on the tobaccos if we're using tobaccos from India, for instance, because a lot of people think India that's poor quality. But I can tell you, they have some Virginias where you're just dreaming about it. So good.
India has absolutely amazing Virginias. The HU uses a lot of Indian Virginias.
So now, bear in mind that when I say this, I have less than no knowledge. I have negative knowledge on this, but I would imagine that the terroir for growing tobacco is not that different from the terroir of growing tea.
Nope.
So, as many of you know, India and Sri Lanka, also fantastic. Like when tea buyers go to Sri Lanka, they go to the warehouses to buy tea. That's the premium that they get up there. So the tobacco would probably be very similar.
For tobacco, some reason people think it's bad quality. It's not.
Let me go back to the group here, and if anybody else has some questions for Per while we have him here, bear in mind. So I was very fortunate, to meet all these gentlemen here, and not just gentlemen, but we have one of the ladies who's going to be joining us pretty soon here, to come in and give us some of their time here at the show. They've all got tables. They've all got things to do. So this is your chance to get the inside scoop. So if you got a question prepared, go ahead and throw it out there. Bud's got a question, but he's too embarrassed to answer.
Otherwise, my explanation was clear, so there's no questions.
Yeah. Well, so I'm curious about what else is new at McBaron and with you. So in our last episode, you might remember that Per was on his way to a special project in Germany, and now he's back on another project. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, the project now is, well, it's not a project. It's my hobby. It's my working life. I'm now chief educator, doing a lot of education in Germany because the poor guys there have to learn what tobacco is. They're coming from other businesses than the tobacco business, so they have to get it from, and then you go all the way up, getting through all the blends. So that takes a lot of my time.
So you're a McBaron educator internally.
Yes, and then I'm ambassador to the outside.
Got it. Does that mean more travel?
Probably, yes.
Will we see you in the U.S. more?
I hope so. Oh, I heard something, a little bird singing about a West Coast pipe show.
Yes.
Could be interesting to visit and see what that is.
I'm hoping that you're going to be there. Yes. Yeah.
So, it will mean more travel.
We already have his room ready, so just so you know. Yeah. WKR Piper in Cincinnati asks, will McBaron have a new release this year?
No, not this year.
Not this year?
No, because the mother company have been extremely busy. They have opened a daughter company in Germany, and it's not just opening a company. There's a lot of things that have to be done. So everybody have been busy with that.
So it's like a German Sutliff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without the production. It's only distribution.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
All McBaron tobacco is always produced in Denmark. Germany is only a distribution.
Got it.
So normally in former times we had an importer. They imported it and distributed it. Now we have our own company doing it.
So in terms of relative consumption, where does Germany sit in terms of being a buyer of tobacco?
Germany is was our strongest export country. Now it's France.
Really?
Yes.
Any insight about why that happened?
That's a very logical explanation. Because we bought all those pipe tobacco brands out of Imperial Tobacco.
Do it. There you go. Just buy your competitor.
Yeah. No, and the thing, it was about time that we did, because Imperial had no interest whatsoever in pipe tobacco. And you can see when they made a new amphora, it was just the same component but in another relationship. When we took over, I said no. We need to have a Virginia, a Kentucky, an English blend, and a Burley. So that was my first task to get those on the going.
And they're under the Imperial brand, or they're McBaron brand?
No, under Amphora.
Amphora.
And then I took a little shortcut because I said I need a pipe tobacco for myself. So I created the Amphora Virginia, and that is my personal tobacco. I'm a Virginia guy.
Where's Miguel? Miguel is here somewhere. There he is.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's Miguel's favorite.
Yeah.
Of all time. Miguel, how many pounds of M4 Virginia do you have?
Well, my wife is in the room, but I can tell you that I would say about 15 pounds of M4 Virginia.
15 pounds of M4. He's stockpiling it. He's in Vancouver, BC.
Miguel, very nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Jensen.
We have, please know Mr. Jensen is just Pierre.
All right, then.
We have been following each other for a long time, but it's first time we meet face to face. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I can tell you quite sincerely, he is a big fan of yours.
Yeah, I can see it on all the posts. Pure Virginia, Amphora Virginia, from time to time, H.H. Burley.
And ODM. Your old dark part is probably the best, one of the best in the market.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I don't want to keep Per very much longer. So any last minute questions? I'm going to also go over here and see what the folks over there at YouTube have been asking here. Ask Per if he knows why McBaron has been removed from the UK market. Is that news to you?
No, there's a very logical reason. After this Brexit, all tobaccos, well, we could export normal McBaron products to England, but then we have to pay a huge custom. Huge. Otherwise, every product has to have 10% European tobacco in it, in the blend. And starting redoing all the recipes. For England is a big market, but it's not that big. And we prefer to have, when we have one brand, we have one recipe.
Yeah.
Only one recipe throughout the whole world. So that's the reason why a lot of the McBaron have disappeared.
So, and I don't want to get you in trouble if there's not a great answer on this. For those people who live in the UK, how do they get their McBaron?
I don't know if there are possibilities to order it from online shops in Central Europe. Would probably be the best solution. Or take a vacation in Spain.
There you go.
And buy the tobacco there.
I heard you have to go to Poland. Poland.
Yeah.
To buy everything very cheap.
Yeah. And they have a lot of our tobacco.
I have no idea. I really no idea.
But you're right.
Yeah.
So here to finalize this, I have a tin here of the Uno, and I'm going to make a signature. So it looks like this. And this I'm going to give David. Here you are, sir. And then you can decide what you do. If you split it up in I don't know how many bits, so everybody get a little bit, or you do something else. It's completely up to you.
I think, in all honesty, in all fairness, this may be a great conversation that we should have on the virtualpipeclub.com, Virtual Pipe Club Facebook group, so that we can maybe figure out something really great to do with this. It's a signed tin. You might want to just put it in your cellar. And
have your attention, please. We have.
It's awfully quiet.
I think they were having intercom announcements, and that's why they turned the sound off.
Yeah,
I know,
think
it's
so.
just being funny, that's all. Unfortunately,
that was the loudest one so far.
Yeah.
That was,
Oh, man.
There we go. Well, Per, thank you.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
And whoever gets it or whatever,
Yeah.
enjoy it.
There we go.
Okay, and thanks, guys.
Thank you, Bear.
Yep.
Thank you, Bear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Per.
Bye.
Thank you so much, man.
Take care.
I'm in love with this guy. I really am.
I'm married.
Well, in a platonic pipe smoking kind of way. There. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. I am going to see if I can send a quick text message to see if we can bring in our next special guest. In the meantime, let me go back over here to the group and say, what do you guys think so far? How is our pipe show doing? And is there anything that you'd like to find out about the pipe show itself? I'm going to, maybe in a minute or so, do another quick camera pass over the hall here so you can see what that looks like. Still not as busy as it was early this morning, but it's getting a little bit busier. But what do you guys think?
You're doing a great job, DD. Doing a great job.
I feel bad I can't even be there right now, and I only live an hour and a half away, but I've got appointments with customers, so I can't get away to do what I want to do.
Well, Chad, we're glad you're here, even for a little bit.
It's very enjoyable, and I'm having a blast. It was just so wonderful to listen to the wisdom that Per was willing to share with all of us.
That's so cool. Who did you talk to? So I talked to 4 different senators. Okay. And, just the tax bills and small business.
Miguel, I'm going to recruit you to help me out here for a minute. while I dig through my pockets and find the right business card here.
All right. Wow. What do you guys think so far?
Friendly reminder that
Amazing, Miguel, amazing.
I know it's like you're not there, but at the same time, I mean, when DDR scanned the camera, I mean, you feel like you're there. So that's awesome. And I can't wait for the last guest because DDR doesn't want to divulge the information and who's the last guest. That'll be awesome.
I think it's great for us to be able to see what's going on and the different guests. I'm curious the size compared to the pipe shows from the past years. If it's smaller this year or if it's larger, or
yeah, that's a good question, Fred. Yeah. Well, we'll ask DDR about that.
You know who we should ask, and let me see if he's still here, because I saw him come in, and then he may have zipped out again. But Janos is here. I think he had to go back to his table. But so Janos is here at the show. I wanted him to come by the table as well, but he's been to this pipe show before, and he might have a better perspective on how busy it is relative to the past years. It's here. Let me do this. So bear in mind that what we're looking at here, there's RNA Treasures right there next to me. There's Sutliff. There's Cup of Joe's, but that's Sutliff right there ahead of me. So this is only one room. There's a whole other room full of vendors. And as I said this morning, I wanted to be really fancy and show you guys some of the other videos that I've taken around the tables and what it's too much for one man to do. But I'll be posting some of the other videos. And so this morning, just before the show opened, there was a line all the way down the hallway into the lobby and around the corner into Starbucks, which is here in the lobby in the hotel. So lots of people here. And I think probably one reason why this main hall is a little bit emptier is that they're now over there in the secondary hall. And so lots of people over there. Okay, so bear with me. I'm working on this and see if we can get her to come in. Back to you, Miguel.
Well, for our members that is on the Zoom group, if you can give us some perspective on what you guys experienced when you first attend the Chicago Pipe Show. Any of you that's been there. Can you explain the dynasty when you're there?
Sound launchers are free.
Mike Schroeder, you're about to say something, please.
I was going to say, in the past, the Chicago show has been fantastic, but from what I'm getting from the people I've talked to, there's a good number fewer people this year than what there have been in the past. Several people that I know have opted out, some pipe makers and so on, just because of the new venue and all the things that have been going on. So I think that's going to be much better next year.
Yeah. That's good. Ken, you mentioned during the roundup that you been to Chicago Pipe Show before. What was your experience when you were there, Ken?
Well, I've been just a couple of times, and it was 18 and 19, and again, it was the old Pheasant Run, and they had a huge room, and it's this new one apparently, has not a single room. I don't know that makes it worse or better. I'd love to have been there. Couldn't make it up there this year, but I'm certainly going to try to make it next year and see what it's like in terms of comparison. But lots of people there usually characterizes the Chicago show. And, just you could wear yourself out, your tongue out, trying different blends and giveaways, and the discounts are amazing. And to see the artisan pipe makers, talk to them, and see their wares is an experience in itself as well.
Fantastic. Anyone else get an experience at Chicago Pipe Show? No. Okay. Yeah. It's. I remember when Tom Eltang was one of our guests. The reason why Tom Eltang doesn't go to Chicago Pipe Show anymore is I think the first day, but I was, what I understood from Tom Eltang, he said the first day all the vendors, some of their high-end pipes already sold, and I remembered, oh, there you go. I think we're gonna be back because Scott Purcell is there.
Yes. So the hits just keep on playing, and this is my favorite one so far. You guys remember Scotty Pearsall from when she was a guest on our show before?
I'm going to check
Hello,
this out.
Scotty. Hey, Scotty. Good to see you again.
Hi, guys.
So one more time, I did reveal this a little bit earlier. Did you get my thing, by the way? Maybe. I just tell her that I paid for it, and then I'm walking out of the show a little bit later. Except for one thing, she knows where I work. So
I don't think so.
info@ladybriar.com. All right. Well, we'll have to double check.
Yeah.
It went to some other Lady Briar, is what it must have done there.
I'll fight dirty.
Okay. So this was something I had been waiting for an opportunity to get. And because of this, I'll be sleeping on the couch for at least a month. But
it was worth it.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it. So this is an original Scotty Pearsall.
Oh,
That's gorgeous.
Isn't that amazing? Right. So Scotty, thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So what's new?
A lot of the same. Carting kids around, running errands.
Yeah.
Trying to sneak in making pipes.
Anything? So you were sharing with us that you weren't sure you were going to be here at the show.
Yeah, this is a really hard time of year to get away. Even early May, when the show typically is, it's right in the middle of kind of ramping up for the big, summer push. Everybody wants a new patio or landscape, before fall. And yesterday was actually the kids' last day of school. So he went to work an hour late so that he could get them to school. The oldest had to go get the two littles from elementary school because he was still working. So it's just a hard time of year to get away.
And then, how far do you have to come?
8-hour drive.
8-hour drive.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not a little thing there. And so, when did you actually decide that you were going to come?
It's been a couple months ago.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't get a table. My stuff's on Vermont Freehand's table. I didn't get a room. I just figured that there's enough hotels around here. I'll finally eventually book something. But yeah, I had plans to come. I just kind of procrastinated and actually putting things together.
Yeah. Beautiful selection that you had.
Thank you.
I got a chance to. I don't know how many that you must have sold before I got it.
I brought 26,
Cool.
and I think I had sold 3 by the time you came by.
Yeah, at least. There
Yeah.
might have been a few more,
Yeah.
but beautiful selection. To be honest with you, it was difficult to make my choice. Like the one that you know, the whole point of one of Scotty's pieces is the signature shank here, and the idea that so some of them were twice as well, maybe not twice as long, but they were church warden.
The longest one's 15 inches.
Long was
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably twice as long. Yeah, 15 inches. Beautiful, and some of them with some terrific plateau on them.
Yeah, that's rare for me. I kind of go through phases with that, where I don't want any plateau on the rim of anything, and then I'll do it like every chance I get. And with, so I have 4 different sets, we'll call them, where 2 or 3 pipes all came out of the same block of wood. And when that happens, that last block, or that last, little piece that I cut is always right up on the plateau. So that one usually always has some plateau on it. And instead of cutting it off and finishing the rim smooth, I just figured I'd let it ride. So there's quite a bit of that this trip.
Do you ever make them into a distinct set? Like, here's a 3-pipe set from...
Yeah, so I toyed around with selling them all as sets, but that's a little unrealistic, I think. There is one of the sets that I think I posted a picture on my Facebook. I called it the driving set, like the road trip set. And it's a driving billiard that's about 5 inches for the driver, and then there's one that's about 7 inches for the passenger. But same block of wood, I use the same stem material, same relief contrast finish. So in order to keep them all kind of together when I went to put them on my table, anything that was out of the same block of wood, I gave the same stem color to. So that way I would remember what I had done and kind of what went with what.
I love this concept of the driving set. To be honest with you, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
When I saw it, because I saw the post.
Yeah.
So the driving set, like, okay, so I'll smoke this one at the truck stop, and I'll smoke this one. But that makes a whole lot more sense. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
Bonnie and Clyde, Thelma and Louise, Fred and Barney, whoever you want to be, but you both need a pipe.
Thelma and Louise smoking a pipe on down the road.
It's Thelma and Louise.
That'd be great.
Lucy and Ethel is more appropriate for me personally.
Well, you're known for your signature pencil shanks.
Yeah.
Do you ever imagine, not necessarily deviating from the shank itself, but into some different kinds of bowl shapes or?
Yeah, I play around every once in a while with something that's asymmetrical. I try to hit all of the classic shapes. One that I did make, and one of John David Cole's guys that's here, I don't remember his name, he bought it. It's actually a small cauldron.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of flowery, and it's got a nice little lip on it. I made one for a commission back in March, and I liked it so much, and I kind of hemmed and hawed the whole time, like, I don't know if I want to make this pipe, and I don't know if it's going to look good. And the guy finally talked me into it, and then I really liked it. And when that happens, I have to resist the urge to make another one immediately, or it won't come out right. My energy and my zeal get the best of me, and the pipe suffers for it.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
While they're quiet, I might point out that
I just turned the microphone off.
Probably going
when
back to
when they make the
early.
announcements, because it gets so loud in there. But in just a second, I'm going to open it up to questions for Scotty, for you guys. Looks like there's a question or two maybe here already. So if you're watching over there on Facebook and YouTube, get your questions prepared. And then, gentlemen, the literal rose between all these thorns is...
I'm the biggest thorn of the bunch.
I don't even want to entertain the idea of trying to go drinking with Scotty, because I think that would be...
I'm actually a really bad drinker. I'm half Irish and half German, and 2 drinks and I'm under the table.
She says this now, but I witnessed personally, firsthand last night, her carrying around a margarita bottle that she was trying to pawn off on other people.
I gave that to Manduela.
You gave it to Manduela, who said that she doesn't really drink.
I think she went back to her room and drank it. Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm reading. Okay, so this didn't come in for Scotty yet. So if you've got a question for Scotty, please go ahead and write it into the chat there. WKR Piper says, "Are you going to Columbus?"
I am, yes.
Super. Do you think you'll have the same number of? I don't know what your turnout is like.
Yeah, generally I at least try to have 20. In all honesty, my goal for this show was 43. And that's starting 2 a day, every day, 5 days a week. And then like 2 weeks out, I start finishing everything. And in between the kids and running errands for our landscape business, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I fell short, but the production goal is mine, so it's not a big deal. I shut myself down early, had a nice, easy week this week leading up, where I wasn't up until 4 o'clock in the morning and then getting up at 6:30 to deal with kids. So I got some reasonable sleep. I think I was up one night until 2, but...
Yeah, no, you look great. You don't look like you've been burning the candle at both ends.
I try not to.
Yeah.
My best laid plans, never work. But I always try that week before the show to make sure that I'm set up where I don't feel rushed to finish and get out the door. And I did probably the best job I've ever done coming to this show.
Yeah, you look very rested when you got here and very prepared.
Well, and that's good because I'd been up since 3:30 yesterday morning.
Really? No, you didn't look at it at all.
Yeah.
We had a question come in that said, does she have a website? Of course she does.
There's never anything on it, though, but I do have a website.
Never anything on it. So where do they go to see what you've been making?
When I remember to post on Instagram or Facebook, Smoking Pipes always has my stuff for like 3.5 seconds after an update, so good luck. Really, send me a message, call me, text me.
There we go.
Instagram, Facebook.
Here is her website, though. Let me just give it to you. It's ladybrier.com, L-A-D-Y by B-R-I-E-R. I better do that again. Lady Brier, LADYBRIER.com, and her email is info@ladybrier.com. So if you can go ahead and do you have any interest in finding out what she's got new, or want to make a commission, or just want to send her flowers?
I'd a lot rather have edibles.
Edibles.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Let me specify what type of edible.
Okay, yeah. It's that day and age now.
It is, yes, that I need to specify
Yeah.
chocolate. I see somebody asked about freehands. I have made a few Danish-styled pipes over the years, and it's really not something I enjoy. And I'll make a sketch, I kind of lay out my plan, and then I get 3/4 of the way through the pipe and I get writer's block. That's the only thing I can compare it to.
Yeah.
Like, I completely forget what the end goal was supposed to look like or where I wanted to go with the pipe. And then I have a Stephen King moment, right? What happened at the end of it? He had writer's block forever, and he was like, screw it, we're going to make it a spider, and people will love it, right? And nobody ever questioned it, but it was because he got writer's block. So I don't dabble in freehands because I will make it a spider.
I wasn't sure where she was going with that, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Could have been a lot worse. There could have been blood involved here.
Right, well, at times there are.
Ron Hardcracker says, I love margaritas. Hi, Sailor, smoking haunted bookshop in an old Alpha bank tomato. Ladies and gentlemen, they just apparently let anybody in here. This is actually the grandfather of all pipes in America, right here. Well, we're trying to we're trying on an appropriate moniker that we can actually say on air. That doesn't.
You picked that up from Brian Levine.
That's true. I'm trying to be.
4 minutes left in the silent auction.
Levine, we've had him on the show before, the star of the documentary Father the Flame. One more time, hold on.
David Johnson, I think you're just going to have to speak up if you've got a question.
Ironically, that's the noisiest silent auction.
Okay, here we are. I saw a hand go up somewhere there.
Yeah, that's mine.
There you go, David.
First of all, it's Ladybri,
Oh, you're right. Mea culpa, mea culpa. Let me do that again for all of you who have just run to the computer to type in the wrong URL. I screwed it up. Ladybriar.com. LADYBRIAR.com.
That's backwards, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
but mine isn't, so I
Quick
think.
announcement, folks. Lane Tobacco will not be here tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so they're both backwards.
They're both backwards.
You know how we're going to fix that?
4 tickets, $2.
Doesn't work.
Lane Tobacco will not be here tomorrow, so this is your last.
All right. I wanted to ask Scotty, how do you keep your shanks from breaking?
So all of my shanks are lined with stainless steel tube. They have a reverse tenon, so the tenon is part of the tube, the mortise is in the stem, and the stainless steel runs all the way through the shank and into the bowl and stops just short of the chamber.
This is pencil again. You see that? Oh, I don't know. What's your name, sir?
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim is also here.
Yes.
Good to see you, Tiny Tim.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Scotty, this is kind of a machinist question, if anything. What swing of lathe do you use in order to turn your bowls? I mean, some of the shanks on your pipe bowls are awfully long. I'd be concerned as hell that the shank is going to hit the bed and shatter. So I'm curious to know what kind of lathe you're using in order to turn your bowls.
Yeah, I have a 22 by 42 grizzly wood blade.
Once again, Lane Tobacco.
So I can spin 11 inches before it hits the
Stop by the
waves.
Lane Tobacco table.
Oh my God.
You'll see the big Captain Black band.
22 inches, that's quite a swing on a lathe. That's a big swing.
That's a massive swing.
Yeah, so it's not the biggest as far as the 22, what diameter you can turn, but it is a fairly large pipe, lathe. I have a pipe on my table that's 15 inches long. The briar portion is 10 plus a half-inch stainless steel tenon, so I had a half-inch in between the bottom of that tenon and the ways. And it's not scary anymore because I've done it enough, like I kind of know how to lay things out, where not to stick my arm, make sure the tool rest is out of the way. But once a year, I'm not paying attention, and I don't double-check things, and I don't get the tool rest out of the way, and I'll turn the lathe on, and the shank just gets popped off and goes, whizzing by.
Never, like, poke you in the
Face
eye
shield.
or face shield.
Yeah, face shield. Yeah.
That is a necessary piece of equipment that I think they didn't talk about in the workshop yesterday.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
You got a couple old pipes stuck in the ceiling, right?
No, but I have thrown one 20 feet behind me and had it hit the TV on the wall. Luckily, no damage was done.
Was that on purpose, or was that you were pissed at somebody?
Oh, no, that was an accident.
That was an accident.
Yeah, no, I had a catch. I was a little too aggressive with my cut when I was turning a bowl, and it ripped the whole pipe out of the chuck and threw it 20 feet behind me. So
Were you
it
able
happened.
to save the pipe?
Was I able to save the pipe?
Yeah.
No. It was a loss.
Well,
The auction is closing in 5.
the best stuff happens on the show when we turn the microphone off.
That's why it happens.
I'm hoping that's exactly right. So I'm going to let Scotty go here in just a moment. But before I do, if you have any other questions, comments, requests from Scotty, let me go ahead and change the thing here so I can see who's got there. If you got any questions for Scotty, go ahead and raise your hand there. Once again, if you don't know of Scotty, if you've been in a coma and you don't know of Scotty's work, this I think is a fairly good sample.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say this is 8 inches.
Probably. Yeah.
So imagine that the one she said was the longest pipe she's got on her table right now is that long a stem. There we go. That long a
At
stem.
15 inches, is that without the stem?
No, that's with the stem. So the briar portion is 10 inches. Yeah.
So great stuff. Great stuff. Anything that you want to let out of the bag before you go?
I got nothing.
Got nothing?
I'm an open book.
Okay, so well, I'm going to say she's super busy. Everybody knows Scotty's work and wants some. I've been pining for one since we had her on the show, and I had to have one. But that doesn't mean that you should not go to her website or try to get a hold of her through Instagram, because if you're a collector, I think this is something you've got to have in your collection. But that's just me.
I appreciate it, guys. It was good to see you all again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scotty.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so this is the time of the meeting that we're actually right at our usual ending time. And for those of you who may be over there on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever, or here in the club, by the way, I think there's a few people here today that are new or relatively new, and I haven't said welcome yet. And I just wanted you to know that it's so awesome that you're here. Thank you for coming today. And today's a crazy, crazy day. It's an unusual type of meeting, but so much is going on. We have one more very, very special guest that I want to introduce to you, and he's going to, I think he might get us banned from Facebook, but we're going to try it anyway.
Hi, guys.
It's Tom Eltang, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. Awesome.
Tom, it's good to see you.
It's good to be here.
Tom, pleasure.
You should have been here, but this is the second best way to do it.
So what's new? You were telling me that so Tom and I had a chance to bump into each other last night, and he said that there was a lot of new things that he was doing, and I said, don't tell me, because I want to ask during the show. So what's new, man?
Well, what's new is that my apprentice Johannes just got a baby and bought a new house, so he's making a new workshop. So when I come back, I got to help him set up a new workshop, 45 minutes from my place. And so the last year I've been all alone in the workshop and has to do everything myself. So I'm looking forward to helping him so he can get his workshop up and running, so he can start helping me with some of the Sarah pipes and the basic pipes and the stuff that he can make for me. And because the Corona time has been extremely busy, but I've been all alone, so it's been work. So I used this opportunity just to get out of the workshop and meet some of the old friends in Chicago and hook up with them and spend some quality times with pipe smokers, because that's nice people.
And you're here with your wife?
I always have my wife with me. I don't go anywhere without her.
So she's a lovely, lovely lady. How he stays with her, I don't know. But
how she stays with me.
She's very, very nice. So because you didn't have an apprentice, does that mean that you didn't produce as many pipes as you normally do?
Well, if I had help, we would have been able to make more, but they don't make the Eltang pipes, so it's more the cheaper Sarah pipes and the basic pipes that's been having a toll to take the toll on this one. But the Corona time has been extremely frustrating and busy at the same time, so now we're back to some kind of normal, and we can travel again and meet the friends and hang out, and it's going to be fun. And I have a lot of new ideas for new shapes and everything when I come home. So it's going to be downhill from here, and hopefully some good pipes. And I just had a little trip to Italy 3 weeks ago, picking out some fantastic briar, and I'm waiting. I'm very keen on getting that, so I can get some super pipes out there. And it's life is good. It's still good to be a pipe maker.
Do you feel like talking a little bit about some of those ideas that you have for the new shapes and what? You can be vague. It's all right.
But it's just something running around in my head, and some pipe makers makes drawing and plans and everything. I always just go with the flow. I take a block and a cup of coffee and put on some good music, and then I just work with the briar and see what comes out of it. I've never been the guy who made the drawing and then had to do exactly that pipe. I'll just see what happens. But I found some new lines and some when I do pipes, and we'll see what comes out. When I had the guys helping me out in the workshop, I also had to check them and help them and think about what they had to do and plan all that. And then maybe every 2 weeks or something, I had a little time to do some Eltang freehands. And when you only do them so rarely, you do what you always done, and you know that you can do again, and you don't take any chances. But if you do freehand pipes all the time, like I do at the moment, you kind of get into a zone where then you find a new line, and then you can work with that and stuff like that. And that's the time where the new stuff and new shapes comes out. And,
did anything emerge this year that you were especially proud of?
At the moment, I'm working with some very thin shanks, like the one you just showed, but wide. And then you have to make a little extra bottom on, because if you just do it straight, there will be too little briar, and I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to make it as the pipe of the year for the Swedish Pipe Club, so I'll see if I can get it fine-tuned, because I worked a little bit with it, but I'm not 100% satisfied yet, so that's another thing that I have to go home and work with. And then in 2 years I have my 50 years anniversary, and I'm also starting to think about what to do there, and big party. And my good friend Per Bilhel, he has 25 years anniversary, and he also said, oh, you've got to make a pipe for my 25th. So I both have to come up with something for my anniversary and for his anniversary. And so the hardest thing is not to make the pipes, but to come up with something where I'm satisfied and the customers like it, and that it's not too crazy for anybody, because if you want to hit a lot of people, you've got to hit something that's...
Is this something that you plan on maybe having a big event for your 50th? Or is it just...
I normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so... From the Virtual Pipe Club, a tour to Denmark, I think
it's going to be worth the trip. I hope
it'll be worth the trip. We're going to talk. Super, awesome. So, what do you think about what COVID has done to? Is it good or bad or?
Yes, Kunovic told me many years ago that when the world goes down, pipe smoking goes up. And after 9/11, we all thought that now it was going to stop, and we had a boom. And the financial crisis, we had a boom, and exactly the same thing happened here in the COVID. We've been selling pipes like crazy. When people can work from home, they can also smoke while they're working. And I had a little Italian guy coming to my workshop saying that during Corona lockdown, he found one of his father's old pipes in the drawer and started smoking a little bit and found out that that would work for him. And so I also think we got some new smokers. So yeah, and hopefully we can get this thing behind us so we can meet again and hang out and all the things that we should be able to do. If we can find places there where they want us to, where we can smoke, you know, that's getting harder and harder. But we have to fight it in some way, you know. If somebody just don't say, hey, you're going too far, then they'll just, you know, you give them a little finger and they'll take the whole arm. And but we'll see.
We'll see. So you heard it here right the first time. Tom Eltang's revolutionary cause will be issuing uniforms and little red books and the manifesto for pipe smoking.
Yeah.
All kidding aside, this is such a treat. I'm serious. I didn't know. I was hoping that I would have a chance to run into Tom while he was here, and then I did. So he's already. He said yes. I'm not going to hold it to him until I talk more. But he said he was going to come back and be our guest again. I really hope
we'll do it from the workshop. And last time I never gave you the tour or anything. You know, a couple of hours they pass by so fast when I start talking. So
well, I'm going to send him a bottle of his favorite, and then will be like a real party. Questions, guys, from you to Tom while he's here. This is such a great opportunity, and that goes for you over there on Facebook and YouTube, as I've said like umpteen times already, so just go ahead and throw your questions in there. But if you've got a question for Tom, go ahead and raise your hand, would you?
No questions.
No questions.
Good. Then I have been able to, then they have extra time to learn some new tricks that I don't know, and then they can teach somebody else. And it has to be interesting to be a pipe smoker and a pipe collector. And if it's a static world, it becomes boring.
So if your two apprentices or journeymen have been doing other things this last year, have you had any other students come to study with you?
No, and when they started as the apprenticeship, I started by telling them that I didn't teach them to make pipes so they could work for me. So as soon as they had their own customers, you know, my stuff comes second. I can, you know, what happens is that if we make fewer pipes, it's just easier to sell. So it does, for me, it doesn't make any difference, you know. And all the work, getting materials and planning what to be done and all that, you know. I didn't make any more money, even though I have two guys helping me. So it's actually less stressful not to have people in the workshop. Although it was nice to have them. And after sitting alone for almost 40 years, I really had problems. I thought, would I be able to handle to have people in the workshop? And then when I got used to it, they left, you know, so now I sit all alone and think, why did they leave me? But
you need a dog. You need a dog, Tom.
Yeah, but my wife is allergic. I would have loved the little workshop dog in the corner, you know, but it can't happen. I once had an aquarium, but it overgrew.
I can just imagine all the dust and everything. Here we go. I just have so many buttons to push to keep everything up.
You should see the whole apparatus here as a setup here. It's amazing. Have you turned the camera so they can see?
I did. I turned the camera a couple. We'll do it one more time before we close the meeting here. Bud, go ahead with your question. Yes.
Hey, I was wondering, how many pipes do you shoot for, as far as how many you're going to make? Do you like have
on a yearly basis?
Make in a week, or
What did you
say? You said like in a week. What?
No, when I do my own freehand pipes, I make a pipe a day, but I work from 11 till 2 o'clock at night, so it's not an 8-hour day. So, but I'm aiming for a pipe a day on a 12-hour day. That normally works. But I have a lot of stuff working at the same time, so it's not that I start a pipe in the morning and then it's done when I go home. Because some days, and if there's something good in the television, you want to have something where you can work on that and watch a little television, or sometimes you want to do something else. And if you're really in the zone, and sometimes you can see 100 different pipes in all the blocks, and then you have to exploit that, and then you do a lot of shaping, and then you finish them another day. But I like to have a lot of pipes working in different stages, so depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I can do whatever I feel like, because you're not always in the mood to do the whole thing just in one thing, you know.
Do you work every day, or do you
7 days a week?
7 days a week. I know what that's
I
like.
like working.
Yeah. That's really awesome. I think
Hey
there's
Tom, how much does it cost to move to Denmark so I can be your apprentice?
What?
He said, how much does it cost to move to Denmark? Because he wants to be your apprentice, your next apprentice.
Denmark is very expensive. The best thing about being Danish is that when you travel, you always get surprised about the low prices, except when you go to Norway. But no, I'm also getting older, you know. So, and I have my 2 guys now, and they have their own workshop, and they'll help me out a little bit and do their own stuff. And I'm gonna slow down. I'm not gonna maybe shorten down the hours, but I'm gonna make more breaks and maybe some more travels.
Just to refresh your memory, 2 years ago, he said the same thing. You're gonna slow down a little bit, and
I've said that for the last 20 years.
That's right. I think there was a question over there on the Face group and YouTube group about Breyer.
Yeah.
Do you mind answering a question about that? Let me see if I can pull that up here. It says.
Puerto Rico.
Any particular Breyer you prefer?
Yes.
I have a very good little cutter down in southern Italy called Giordano Tarantino, a guy my age, so we connect very well. But Breyer is getting hard to get because the Chinese buys all of it, and so I had to go down there and explain to him that it's important that us old guys that's been buying forever, that we get before he starts sending to the Chinese. But I think they pay cash, so they're hard to deal with, you know. So, but
hard to compete with.
All my colleagues and all the factories and everything, they all say the big problem at the moment is to get Breyer. So that's very high priority. But I have a good supplier and I have a good relationship with him. But I buy from everybody. I also buy from Nemo, also because normal pipe makers like me would only have the good stuff. But because we have the production of the rusticated and the Sarahs and the basic, I choose from the whole range. And they like that much more than if you just come and pick the super pieces, because they are always easy to sell. And they have to get rid of all the other stuff as well. So
this, based on a question that was just asked, did I understand this right? Because your 2 apprentices are busy elsewhere, that you didn't make as many of the basics this year?
The basics we do in the workshop, and I have another friend helping me with that.
Okay.
But also, I had to wait 4 months for the mouthpieces at one point. So when we finally got the mouthpieces, we had 800 or 900 basics in order for, you know.
Wow.
So in China, you know, they order 200 at a time, and a smoking pipe as well. And because we hadn't made, we've done a lot of pipes, but without the mouthpieces, we couldn't ship.
Right.
So we catched up. The problem with that is that they're probably gonna run out at the same time as well. So it would be a lot easier if you just get small orders all the time.
Yeah.
But because of the supply and demand thing, you know,
they'll probably just
it
sell
always
out a little
comes
bit.
in lumps, and that makes it a little bit more difficult to handle. But we try to work on the basics. Our idea was always that we would have a big stock, so when people ordered, it was just, you know, if we make all the time and then just have a lot of stock, we could supply as soon as people ordered. But we're not quite at that point yet, so that's something we're working on. But, you know, half my time goes with figuring out and getting. I ordered a suction 9 months ago and I still haven't got it, you know. So it's all these problems that you have to call this guy, and you know, and so if I could just go into the workshop and sit down and make pipes for 12 hours, I would be able to make more than a pipe a day. But there's so much extra. The system, and then you want, and the tax man, and you know, all that shit. Because I am everything in the company. I have to sweep the floor and do the promotions and answer the email and get the materials and see that the guy has something to do.
I thought Pia did all that.
Answering the emails, yes, but the other stuff is me.
Yeah.
So, but we still have to talk about what we're going to answer and stuff like that. So it's something that you have to be aware of.
So for those of you who have dreams of maybe coming and visiting Tom and maybe seeing the workshop, like in my field in martial arts, sweeping the floors for 10 years is where you start, and then he'll teach you maybe one shape there.
No, everybody is always welcome. I always have time for guests. That's important.
The question actually was, will you make any more mini shapes? They look amazing, but I haven't been able to grab one yet. And that's why I asked if maybe you had been backlogged on.
Well, I like the small pipes, and I make minis once in a while, but lately I haven't had the time. Also because the prices I can get for a mini, you know, it's more fun and it's business. So, and I hope to get more time for stuff like that, and because it makes fun and people think it's nice. So I'll try to see if I can put some in there, and I also have some plans for some super big ones and something. You know, just you know, you can't. If you want to please everybody, you have to do different stuff, and it's all makes it also more interesting for me, not just to make the same 4 shapes over and over again, because I can still sit down and make a pipe and say, oh, I've been making pipes for 50 years, but I never made this one, you know, and that's why it's fun going to work every morning, or noon.
Or noon, That's the difference between a mister and a master. The master gets to come to work at noon. Any collaborations that you might be doing?
Not at the moment, because people can't travel. I still hope to get Goto over one more time so we can make some Gotangs, because he is such an amazing person, and when he's in the workshop, there's just, you know, magic. It's amazing. The only guy that when we say goodbye, we both cry, you know, and the first time it happened, you know, we just looked at each other and said, what the fuck is going on here? You know, 2 grown men standing crying. You know
this term. This is in the U.S. We call this a bromance. Have you heard this before?
Yes.
This is a bromance.
So I really hope that I have the chance to get Goto over to my workshop one more time, so we can make a few Gotangs, and because I've made a lot of collaborations, but Goto is the only one where I had that magic happening, and that's what you're looking for in life. It's those moments that really stands out and that you can sit and remember and enjoy the rest of your life. That's what it's all about.
So I want to give everybody one last opportunity to ask Tom questions, or maybe...
Which pipe did you make for Stanmore? Basically all the shapes after 125 I have some influence on. Most shape 126, They made it with rough top and with a smooth top. And after that, up until when they closed the factory, I had an influence on most of the shapes. So it was a 30-year period. And it was a cooperation that I was very happy about. It put me through all the bad years when we were struggling selling our pipes. But when the old manager left the factory, you know, they just got a bad guy at the top, and then I kind of lost interest. You know, so it was sad, but at one point it was by far the best pipe factory in the world, and the new owners fucked it up, and that's how it is. You can't change that. They should have sold it to me.
There you go. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well,
Tom, you said that you had 2 assistants that you were helping set up their workshops. How much hands-on do you do with them and their pipes? Do you do a finished look over on them, or do you assist them, or?
My apprentices?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I just show them, and then Johannes Suhr, he made the Saras when he was working for me, and then he did his own pipes. He helps me do the rustications because my hands are worn down from all the work, so I can't rusticate. I can do one pipe once in a while, but if I do 2 or 3 rustications in a day, I don't sleep at night because my hands are ache. So he's helping with the rusticated, and Johannes makes the Saras, and then I take care of the Eltangs, and we help each other out on the basics. So that's basically how it works.
So if they're making their own pipes, do they ever bring them to you and say, Papa, can you look at this over?
Yeah, all the time. Nothing leaves anywhere without I've seen them and said, I try to teach them that, you know, they're responsible for their brand. So when something leaves the shop, it has to be okay. And also the price has to be reasonable. You know, we don't go, nothing made in Denmark can be cheap, because everything is so expensive. But still, there has to be a, you know, when I see pipes that cost the same as a car, you know, we have one joint and two holes. Then it's a little overkill, you know. But I try to teach them that, you know, they can always you can always raise. You can never lower your price. So if you raise them too high, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Basically,
So you just price yourself out of the market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think they get it. So especially pipes is, for the quality of the pipe you get, is a super good deal. You know, it's one of the best deals out there because he's like a machine. You know, it's amazing to see this guy work. He's not the most creative. Johannes is more creative, but Mike, he just, you know, if I show him something and said, if you got to make it like this, you know.
So what's his pipe brand called?
B-A-Y.
Bay.
Bay, that's his last name, yeah.
Got it. Bay
Look
pipe.
out for that guy. He's going to be good, and he makes some nice smokers. You know, it's not collector's pipe. It's smoking pipes, and that's also what I like to do. I like pipes to be used, and not just stand in the corner and look nice. That's not why we make them.
Tom, do you
Hi, Tom. Hi.
Hi, Tom. It's Miguel. I got a quick question to this as well, because you're still part owner of the Danish Pipe Shop.
Yes. I'm a partner. I have 20% ownership in the Danish Pipe Shop. And that's another nice thing, because when the trend, there's always a trend in the pipe business, you know, then they want this or that or whatever. And Nikolai can tell me pretty fast that there's something new going on, you know, people are asking for this or something. So we can respond on the market a little bit faster than most of the other pipe makers. And I like to try out, it's much more fun to make the pipes that people want than just the pipes that I think is nice. For me, a pipe is a pipe, and if it's right and if the proportions are there, most of the pipes that I make, I would never buy myself. If I would just smoke pokers, but that doesn't just. I don't make pokers all the time, so I try to make a little for all the different tastes, but always I try to make it a good smoker. I love to make the pipe that becomes a friend and lives in your pocket, and you have some good experiences with, and you know exactly where you bought it, and how big the kids were, where you worked, and what car you were driving. Pipes for a lot when I work for Pipe Dam, because I said I can't buy another pipe in Briar that's good enough, so I'll smoke Meerschaum, So I smoked Meerschaum for many years, and I find this, and I had one of these in my pockets for 10 years, Wow. And the Meerschaum is practical because you can smoke it all day long. If you do that on a Briar pipe, it gets sour, So Meerschaum you can just clean out and wipe out, and then you can smoke it all day long.
But you don't work in Meerschaum. You only work in Briar.
No, I made a few, but the Meerschaum has to be wet when you work in it, and then all your machines rust, all your tool rusts. So there's two rules in my workshop: no metal, no Meerschaum. That's. And then there's 3 rules when you have to work for me. You have to try to be there before 12. You cannot have any tattoos on your neck, because when I have to sit across people with tattoos in their head or at their neck, that's what I'm looking at. And I want to look at the person, not the tattoos. And then you cannot take drugs stronger than marijuana. That's the 3 rules if you have to work for me.
I'm going to institute those at my house, is what I'm going to do, so that my daughters don't get tattoos on their neck. Not at all.
Do you ever make the Danish?
It's fair enough. People have them. I just don't want to sit and have to look at it all day long.
David, go ahead.
Do you ever make the Danish style freehands? Like the Preben Home or Ben Wade used to do.
The freehand in like the Ben Wade style.
I never really met Preben Holm or Ben Wade. That was earlier for my times, And for 25 years, all the pipe makers in Denmark was in their own little bubble. I never went to any of the other pipe makers' workshops until maybe 15 years ago. When there was a pipe maker close to the Stanwell factory or the Bang workshop, they rolled down the curtains, and all of it was exported. So I never saw what the other guys were doing. Once in a while, you could find a pipe magazine with a little picture of something, and you were sitting with a magnifier and everything, because we never saw what the other guys were doing. Then when I came over here and started inviting pipe makers to Denmark to my workshop and taught them stuff, they kind of opened up. But before that, it was a closed world. You didn't tell anybody anything about how you did it. And I never liked that, but I had the luck to change it a little bit, I think. So also, as I said, it has to be fun to be a pipe smoker and a pipe collector. So if we don't exchange experiences and stuff like that, that doesn't mean we have to copy each other. But if we want the craft to grow, we have to learn from each other. The thing is, I don't just go to the ocean and look over the ocean and then all the inspirations comes. That's not how it works. It's going to pipe shows, and then seeing a pipe or a line or some way of doing something, and then you take that and you integrate it in your way of doing it. But this thing go in the forest. It's nice, but it doesn't make any pipes.
Well, I'll do the meditating in the forest. You make the pipes in the workshop.
I walk to my workshop, and that's a 45-minute walk through the old hunting ground from our king. And that's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
And for the first time in 20 years, I was actually home when all the trees turn green, because we're always here in Chicago normally, and the trees go green in exactly that week when the Chicago show was. So it's been fantastic being that they postponed it a couple of weeks, because then I had that experience for the first time in 20 years. And Denmark, when all the trees turn green, is fantastic.
Oh, nice.
It is, yeah.
Nice. And Nikolai was saying, so he didn't want to do a show that was too late, because he says because at that time when he was our guest, it was still in the wintertime, and he rides his bicycle home.
Nope.
So he says, I don't want to ride my bike in the dark, because it's like an hour bike ride.
Yeah. It is, but now it's light till 11, and when I go home from the workshop at 2 o'clock, it's starting. I have the light on the northern sky and everything, and the birds start singing, and everything. It's amazing. This time of year is fantastic. Makes it even better to be a pipe maker.
Nice. Well, I'm really glad that you came by and spent some time with us. Thank you.
We're going to do a podcast when I get home. And,
okay. Yes.
I'm going to.
I in July I'm going to be gone all month because I'm going on a honeymoon.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I've been together with my wife for 18 years, but she finally said yes.
I'm trying the same. I've been with my wife for 40 years and we're not married.
Tell her you'll take her to Bali. That's what I had to do. No.
I'm working on it.
We're working on it. All right. Let me just put in a good word for you as a man with experience. I'll tell her. Super.
It was nice. Enjoy your pipes. Keep on puffing. That's important. But the most important thing is that you enjoy it. It's the only way to smoke, if you ask me, how it was intended. So it's important we keep the flag high and keep puffing.
Tom, thank you. It was a real pleasure to see you again.
Pleasure is mine.
We'll talk some more.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Great
Bye.
to see you, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being back in Chicago.
Now I have to go out to smoke,
Yeah, okay.
It's such a trial.
It was just easier when you could light your pipe, and I've taken myself and pulling out my muscle memory, but it's $2,500 if it slips. So
okay. I was going to say we were going to try to cover for you, but no, we're
So take care. I'll go and have a pipe.
Thank you, Tom.
I'll come out and join you in a little bit. There.
Great, thanks.
Oh my God, this is. Are you guys as excited as I am?
Amazing.
It's
amazing.
That was pretty damn amazing, right there.
No doubt about it.
All of our guests today.
It's almost better than being there.
Almost better than being there. Well,
That's right.
okay. One more time, not quite yet, because I want to give a couple of announcements, and then I'll do one more camera pass for everybody who maybe tune in later. Close their eyes while I was doing it before. So not only have we had amazing guests today, but we've got some more amazing guests that we've got lined up, because I've been schmoozing while we were here. So we've got Missouri Meerschaum. Finally, we're going to do a virtual tour of the factory. So we got that lined up there. Also, Tim West at Vermont Freehand is going to be our guest, and he said I've got some bubbles to burst for some people and let the cats out of the bags. I have no idea what that means, but it should be an interesting show. And a couple of other people that you don't know their names, but they've got some really interesting exhibits here. Turbo Tin was here, and we talked to them about maybe doing something special with them on our new website, so that you guys can get the updates of newly available tobaccos and releases and stuff like that, right on the spot. So lots of cool stuff coming up here. All right, one last pass around. I would stay and chat a little bit, but I haven't been to the restroom for the last 2.5 hours, and just saying. So again, RNA Treasures right there next to me. And this is the Sutliff table, but those are all Janos Kokinos' pipes right there. So he's got another table in the other room as well. Just a lot of really incredible stuff here.
Hello, testing. It works. Hey, everybody. Last minute warning for those of you who have purchased with tickets for this evening's.
That is too funny.
I know this is what they call dead air, but it's better than
perhaps one or two other deep.
So you guys got that? Go pick up your dinner tickets. That was what that was all about. All right. Thank you guys all for being here. This was a really, really fun show. I encouraged you to check out the West Coast Pipe Show that's coming up in October. One of our guest speakers today was Brian Levine. It's official, West Coast Pipe Show in Las Vegas, the weekend of the 21st, 23rd, 22nd, 23rd of October. And that should be even more fun, if possible, than this one. So I'm hoping to see a bunch of you guys there. Now, I'm going to go do my business, and I'll see you guys next week. How about that?
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, DDR.
Thank you, guys.
Have fun. See you next week, guys.
Excellent, DDR. Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you.